Good morning, beloveds. I'm not awake yet. I have been up for almost an hour now, but I'm not awake. I woke up at 7 with the cat and looked at the clock and went, yeah, no, I don't have to go to work today. So I went to the bathroom and went back to bed and woke up at 10 minutes to 9. And that is unusual for me. Usually I'm up by 8:30 if I turn my alarm off. Well, so here we are. I'm dressed for the bike ride, but we have not done the bike ride yet because, again, I'm not awake. And normally Friday is the day off, but I'm going to eat waffles and bacon. So I'm going to go for a bike ride. I'm going to kick my metabolism off going, yeah. So, of course, on holidays, I also usually only eat 2 meals. So there's that too. So I don't feel guilty about the waffles and the bacon. And I think I saw strawberries in the fridge. So yay. Because I said if I'm going to eat waffles and bacon, I should have something, either fruit-like or vegetable-like. And strawberries make me very happy. So I'm happy about that. All right. Living the Science of Mind is what we are doing. So let's do the housekeeping really quickly. And the housekeeping is simply me reminding you that we are Creative Life Spiritual Center. The website is creativelife.org. The constant contact is email, info@creativelife.org. That gets you 1 email a week unless something unusual happens. And it's, because I'm going to remind you we live in hurricane country and it is hurricane season. Because it's a real person doing it. He didn't have time for more than that. So the hot links are hot and it is a blind CC. Why is that important? Because it means nobody sees your email. Nobody will get your email. You will not end up on anybody's email list because of us. So feel free to do it. I mean, it tells you, like I said, what's going on for the week of the month. All right. And then let's talk just briefly about the social medias, simply because we are doing this on the social medias. We do not monetize the social medias. We don't give them money. We don't ask you for money on the social medias. So what we ask you to do instead is to like, subscribe, or follow the pages, and then engage with the post. Like, subscribe, or like, comment, and share on the posts because it bumps us in the algorithms. More people see our stuff. That's the goal. That's it. And we are Creative Life Spiritual Center or Creative Life Spark, depending on which platform you're on. And I'm the running Rev Ryan on the platforms that I am on. If you ever wanted to know where these go to live after Facebook deletes them, the running Rev Ryan YouTube is where I archive them. Because occasionally I say really interesting things. Usually I'm quoting Ernest when I say interesting things, but All right. So today we are going to do You Are a Spiritual Broadcasting Station. Why that is important is because Ernest had a radio show. He was also influenced by Thomas Troward. And I think that idea may have been heavily influenced by, because according to Troward, we are divine distributors, which is kind of like a spiritual broadcasting system. Okay, so The Living the Science of Mind is a book that is a series of essays drawn from the at-home Science of Mind course. My pet theory is that people had questions, and they would write to Ernest, and he would answer them. So, that's what it is. All right, so let's get on into You Are a Spiritual Broadcasting System. A couple of things must happen. 1, let's turn on the light. And 2, because he has just really nice ways of saying things. So occasionally I want to remember them. So my trusty blue highlighter. It will be sad when my trusty blue highlighter dies and then I will have to go find another color. I think I have a green one somewhere. So, good morning, Reverend Dana. All right. Which, well, I'm glad you're watching because we may end up talking about your class because you are a spiritual broadcasting system. Okay. You are a spiritual broadcasting system. Did you ever stop to think that you are spiritual? You are a spiritual and mental broadcasting station, and that messages are going out from you in all directions, perhaps even while you are asleep. Well, now that's kind of terrifying because I'm prone to nightmares. Messages which have an influence on your environment and the people around you. And since everything moves in circles, the messages you broadcast will come back to you. Oh, yeah. Why that's important. If the messages that you broadcast will come back to you, think about it. Like, whatever mood you are in when you are out in the public, it's going to get reflected back to you. And if you are in a bad mood, that's going to get reflected back to you in your teeth. So because body language is a thing. So, it behooves you to think about, well, what message am I sending out? What message do I want to get back? Because there is also this concept, it's a pagan concept. What you send out, you get back 3 times, threefold. I don't want to be sending out a bad mood because I don't want a bad mood to come back 3 times. All right. We are told that the mental atmosphere of a home can influence a dog, a cat, or a canary to the extent that they become neurotic when surrounded by unhappiness and criticism. Well, a dog, cat, a canary, and children. There is a place where our physical bodies begin and leave off, but the mind has no such limitations, and our thoughts penetrate everything around us. We are all broadcasting stations, whether or not we know it. Our thoughts and feelings and emotions, our faith and our fears tend to make an imprint on our environment. Oh, he is not just whistling Dixie here. What you think about, you bring about is a very common phrase, and that is what he's talking about here. What you think about shows up in your environment. It's a really good idea to check your head on a regular basis. Okay, we are also receiving sets, but it does not follow that we must tune into every program that is being broadcast. Wait a minute. Okay, did you just hear that? It does not follow that we must tune into every program being broadcast. That is a super important concept, especially for women, because it means that when people are broadcasting nonsense, we don't have to listen. We can tune to another station, or we can just simply walk away. All right. I appreciate that phrase so much. Okay. When we want to listen to a certain program, we tune our radios to its wavelength. The program already is within the ether in the room, but it does not affect our instrument until we tune into it. It is fascinating to think that we are both mental broadcasting stations and receiving sets. And it will be even more wonderful when we learn to broadcast only the kind of messages we wish to receive in turn. If a person's mind is filled with animosity and resentment, people will feel it. Oh yeah, that is the truth. Whether or not they say a word. This animosity arouses within others who have resentment and animosity a feeling like their own. Their thoughts tune into the other's thoughts, and they're immediately responded by flowing back into that person. One accentuates the other. It sounds like he's talking about a feedback loop, where and I've watched it happen. Like when Betsy's in at my job, when Betsy's in a bad mood, like then she puts other people in a bad mood, and we just feed on each other, and it can just get really, which is why when she's in a bad mood, I try and stay away from her as much as I can, because she owns the place. She is the owner. But it's like, okay, you know what? You're in a bad mood. I'm going to protect myself by staying out of your influence. And also, I'm not going to meet you on your level. I'm going to come to you with that gentle softness, and see if I can take the edges off your bad mood. Sometimes I can, sometimes I can't. Depends on whose mood's more powerful. But at least in this situation, I know who I am, and I'm not going to accept hers. Okay. I'm not going to receive hers. All right. On the other hand, if you are surrounded by people who have resentment and animosity, but you have none, you will not tune in. This is what I'm talking about. Their vibration bypasses you, and their antagonism does not arouse an equal antagonism in you because you are not broadcasting on the same mental wavelength. But that requires consciousness. That requires consciousness. It requires me to know, okay, she's in a bad mood. I'm not willing to accept this. I have to check my mood too. Okay? That's exactly what he just said. It is the same with everything in life. A person whose thought is filled with the fear of failure tunes in and picks up the vibrations of failure wherever they contact them. To their own negative thought, there is an added great mass of negative thoughts until finally it seems that the only thing they can think about is failure. In a way, both their will and their imagination have become hypnotized because they are tuning into so much negation. When a person's mind is upset, disturbed, and unhappy, all they mentally hear is discord because their inner ear is listening to the continuous turmoil. So I learned this. So I'm taking a class right now. Oh, Dana, you're going to have to tell me what the title of your class is. Because it's the 7. Yeah, okay. So in this class that I am taking, I learned the term conscious consensus. Instead of race consciousness, it's conscious consensus, which is what he's talking about here. That is what we are tapping into when we are in those moods. We are tapping into that race consciousness and pulling out all the stuff we don't want. And then we're contributing more back to it. Thank you. 70 Basics of Science of Mind. Conscious consensus. But we also have to understand that when we're pulling stuff out of that race consciousness or conscious consensus, we're putting it back in. And we need to be aware of what we are putting back into that conscious, because we have the power to change it. Okay. I'm going to get all excited about this. Conversely, because here he is, conversely, a person whose thought is filled with the idea of success, who has faith and confidence in themselves and what they are doing, will tune in to the successful thoughts around them and the thoughts of faith and optimism and happy expectancy. A person who confidently expects good things to happen, who expects everyone to like them, and who expects to find happiness in life wherever they go, will not only be broadcasting these thoughts, which will make other people happy, they will be receiving them in return. Because they feel friendly, people will respond with friendliness. And I know this works. I know this works because I do it. I do it. And it's one of those things, occasionally I do fake it until I make it. Like I may wake up on the wrong side of the bed, and then I go to work and I'm like, okay, you know what? I can't bring this energy into work. I need to change my attitude. I need to change what I am broadcasting. Collective consensus. That's the word. Thank you. Collective consensus. I like it better than race consciousness. And we are constantly contributing. So that's one of the things that I do when I work on my, so I consciously change my attitude and usually I can do it within 20 or 30 minutes of getting to work. That first customer really generally does help, and then I can change it. And so then I'm contributing to the collective consciousness. So I know this works because I do it. So try it. You might like it. As, was that Life cereal? I think so. Okay. I'm not going to get through this very fast. We all wish to be like this. We not only want to be whole ourselves, because no one can be happy unless they are whole, but we want to help others. And that, I think that's just a natural, I think that's just the human, that's the human, maybe that's the divine part of us. We want to help other people. It's because it's natural. It's natural. Maybe that is the divine part of us. We not only wish to broadcast good news is what we want to receive. Now that's true. We should decide to think on the affirmative side of life, or accentuate the positive and eliminate the negative. In doing this, we must make up our minds that we are not going to receive the criticisms or the negative state or the animosity of anyone. And let us not forget the importance of keeping our mind in a state of good-natured flexibility. Okay, that was a good one. The importance of keeping our mind in a good-natured state of good-natured flexibility. If a tree did not bend in the breeze, it would break under a strong wind. We have to be flexible and tolerant, as well as positive and affirmative. Okay, you know what? Hang on. I'm going to read that sentence again, but I'm going to add an addendum to it. We have to be flexible and tolerant, as well as positive and affirmative. But we don't have to take any nonsense. I was going to say something else, but I'm trying to behave. We don't have to take any nonsense. Okay, we can be tolerant, but we do not have to tolerate nonsense. All right? Occasionally, I just want to put that addendum on there, because being spiritual, we can be spiritual badasses, and we do not have to be pushovers. Just because you are tolerant does not mean you are a pushover. Okay? All right, back to Ernest. And even if someone throws a brick at us, we need not catch it. It is far better just to step aside. That's what I'm talking about. If somebody's throwing nonsense, we don't have to tolerate it. They can keep throwing all the bricks they want, and we can just step aside. Oh my goodness. When we catch the bricks that are thrown at us, it is generally for one purpose only, to throw them right back. And the first thing we know, is the air is full of bricks, and what a mess it makes. It will help if we decide to play the game of life in a happy way. Oh my goodness. This book is so good. This book is so good. Everything we can learn is... hang on. Another thing we can learn is to not dwell on the obituary notices. Remember that for everyone who passes out of this world, someone else comes in. Life is a river always flowing, and life itself never gets tired, worn out, or exhausted. It never depletes itself. Yes, there are a lot of things that in the paper besides the obituary notices. We do not have to morbidly scan all the accidents any more than we have to listen to the negative conversation. More and more, we are coming to see that what it means to accentuate the positive and eliminate the negative. It is one of the reasons why I don't watch the news anymore. Because the news has if it bleeds, it leads, and I just can't do that anymore. All right. It is true enough that birds of a feather flock together, and birds do come home to roost. But if we use the mind that God has given us, we can build our own roosts. We can even change the color of our feathers if we want to. For the divine mind has created a plumage for each of us and has built a nest in the secret place of the Most High for every living soul. I wanted to remember that line that we can build our own roosts. We can build our own roosts. All right. All of us are rooted in the mind of God. We did not plan it this way. This is the way it is. God is still the supreme power, and the divine spirit is still present with us no matter where we are. We must learn the tune in the mind of God, for when we do, we are tuning into the most dynamic reality in the universe. Do not be afraid to talk to God. Right there. Do not be afraid to talk to God. Always remembering that God speaks a certain kind of language and that there is nothing negative in it. We believe in prayerful affirmative meditation above everything else. We believe in actually talking to God and then letting God answer. But perhaps in our confusion, we talk at God rather than to God. We have told God how terrible everything is, how unhappy we are. Try this. Sit or lie in complete repose, and then tell God how wonderful God is and how glad you are, how grateful. It is at times like this that we are really tuning into the divine, and the divine will always respond to us. We shall always receive the comfort and consolation we need, the inward sense of security and well-being that everyone must have to be happy and whole. He's talking about gratitude. He's talking about gratitude. And there's good science behind that. If you are feeling low or down, 2 ways to get out of it. One is the gratitude practice, laying there and, being grateful for everything, or going and being of service to another. Volunteering. All right, let us find a new wavelength for our mental instruments. And as surely as we do this, we shall begin to broadcast on this wavelength. We shall discover that we are not only helping ourselves, but we are helping everyone around us. So that goes back to that divine distribution that we were talking about. Because that's what Troward calls us. We are divine distributors. That is, if we could be said to have a purpose in this life, other than what we are doing, we are to distribute the divine love. What you do beyond that, that's between you and the divine. But that's what we are. We are divine distributors of the divine love. And it can take all kinds of amazing forms. Let us tune our mental instruments to success and happiness, to the idea of physical wholeness, and above everything else, to the comforting thought that there is a love in the universe which by its very presence dissolves all hate. There is a faith that neutralizes all fear. There is a confidence that brushes aside every doubt. God never deserts us, and we shall never have to convince God to be good. Thank goodness. All we have to do is reverse our whole mental and spiritual outlook on life, and then the miracle will take place. Because what goes out must return. Okay, that sounded a little, he said reverse our whole mental and spiritual outlook. I don't think we need to reverse our whole mental and spiritual outlook. I think for the most part, what we need to do is tweak it, and tweak it constantly. I think on the whole, most of our spiritual and mental attitudes are, good. But what we need to do is regular daily spiritual practice to make sure that we're staying on track. Grease those wheels, stay on that track, keep running smoothly. So when I read that, I was like, that sounds like a lot. Let's, I don't think we have to reverse the whole thing. I think we just need to tweak it. I think we're on the right path. Just regular spiritual practice will daily tweak your attitude and keep you running in that right track. All right. God never deserts us, and we shall never have to oh, wait, I already read that one. No, he's repeating it. No, hang on. I got lost. The skeptic may call this the Pollyanna-ish attitude and say that we are living in a world of unreality. Well, I have dealt with skeptics all my life, and I have no awe of them. None at all. They are forlorn and unhappy people who have no guideposts to go by, no chart, no compass, and no pilot. Learn to say with Samuel Walter Foss, let the howlers howl and the growlers growl and the scowlers scowl, and let the rough gang go at it. For behind the night there's plenty of light, and the world's all right, and I know it. That's kind of cool. In other words, let people be people. Let people be people and do your own thing. because there's plenty of light. And we can know that eventually the what he calls them, the howlers, the growlers, and the scowlers, the rough gang, they'll come to it. We can't force them, but we can hold space for them until they're ready. Okay, no, this is not an empty or idle dream. This is an intense reality. Somewhere along the line, we must find a faith greater than all our doubts and fears and uncertainties. Somewhere along the line, we must find a love greater than all animosity, and we must find a peace beyond our confusion. This is the pathway that we are all seeking, whether we know it or not. And we are being guided by a loving intelligence which evermore seeks to bring us peace and comfort, cheer and goodwill, happiness and success, health and abundance. First of all, we must be sure that we are right inside, and then learn to trust ourselves because we have faith in God. We must learn to get our own broadcasting station in order. But as you just heard him say, we're not doing it by ourselves. We must retune our own receiving sets. It may take time and effort, but the goal we seek is worth the journey, and the prize that is offered is worthy of our effort. Heaven is lost only because we lack the idea of harmony. It was destined from the foundation of the world that right should finally win, that love should conquer all. We are all spiritual and mental broadcasting stations. There is a silent force flowing from us in every direction at all times. How necessary it is that we assume the role of the announcer and the broadcaster. How necessary that we write our own program and deliver it ourselves. Very, 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 very important. Don't let other people write your stuff. When a person speaks into a microphone in a broadcasting station, their own words are carried to the far corners of the earth, where they are reproduced. But the force that carries them is mechanical. It is law, a vibration. It is a law which actually reproduces the word they speak, the intonation, and the inflection. Now, along with this word, which is a broadcast, goes a picture, an image of their personality. This is what we see in television, as though they were suddenly present everywhere, and the picture looks like them because it was their image, their likeness that created. And so it is with the reaction of the law of good from a power greater than we are. It always tends to bring back to us exactly what goes out. But we are always the broadcasters, and we can always change the picture if we will. And then he ends this with a meditation. So, at which point, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to do all of the little things that I normally do, which is to tell you to have a great day, amazing day, a wondrous day, a fantastic day, a magical day, an enchanted day, a wonderful day, an awesome day, an amazing day, enjoy the fireworks, because it's the 4th of July and you're going to get them. Take care of your fur babies, cuddle your fur babies extra today, drink plenty of water, stay out of the sun between 10 and 2, stay out of the heat, take care of yourself, take a nap if you need to, because you may be up late with the fireworks. Do what you got to do day, a good day, and if that's too much pressure, simply have a day. You are enough, just as you are. You're a beloved expression of the divine. You're spirit in motion, God in action, a beautiful masterpiece, and a work in progress at the same time at your own pace. A brilliant light, a divine spark, and as Reverend Jesse likes to call it, you are a godly. Explore the truth of your being, because you are a spiritual broadcasting station. Get to know who the divine knows you to be, because the divine knows you to be good. From there, anything is possible. All right, so Reverend David will be on around 5 p.m. with you. I'll be back with you around 9 tomorrow. I get to go to the park tomorrow, so yeah. And now I'm going to end with this meditation. All right? On who we are as spiritual broadcasting stations. Out of the abundance of the heart, the mouth speaks. Today, I am keeping careful watch that I think and speak only those things that I wish to broadcast from my mind and return to me. I desire that everything I think shall be from the heart as well as from the head. I wish to broadcast kindness and love, sympathy and understanding, peace and joy. No condemnation, judgment, or fear shall go from me to anyone or anything. Turning my mind to the divine, I draw into my own soul the essence of everything that is good, true, and beautiful. I draw into my own mind the realization of the divine presence and the power of good until my whole being responds. And this is all I wish to broadcast to the world, something that will help and heal and bless, something that will cause everyone I meet to feel a new strength, a new hope, desiring to receive the divine blessing in my own life. I wish to broadcast it to the whole world. And so I say to the whole world, the Spirit bless and keep thee. The Spirit make their face shine upon thee, and be gracious unto thee. The Spirit lift up the countenance upon thee, and give thee peace, both now and forevermore. Amen. And I will see you next time.